Hello, 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 my beloved women of the world, whoever is here with me today. Welcome to my show, Your Radiant Life After 45, a show for women of a certain age who are not done living yet, who want more from life, better health, better relationships, more confidence, just more zest for life, because life gets better and better and better. So today, I am going into the second part of unpacking fad diets. When I said fad diets, I'm not talking about diets that are, fads, because I would not spend any time there. No, I am exploring, and I want to unpack for you diets who have really made a difference and who have been, if for good or for not, or whatever other reason, have been making an impact in our life. Okay, so without further ado, let's unpack the keto diet today. So there are different diets when it comes to keto diet, the ketonic diet. The SKD, which is the high fat and moderate protein diet, but all of them have low carbohydrates. Or the high protein ketonic diet, which is similar to the standard, but includes more protein. And then there is the targeted ketonic diet. And that allows adding more carbs than the others around workouts. And then there is the cyclical ketonic diet, which involves periods of high carb refeeds, such as 5 ketonic days without carbs or very low carbs, and then 2 high carb days. And this is usually for athletes or for people who just do well with carbs and want to try it out. Excuse me, I need to take a sip here. So, animal protein, as you can imagine, plays a big role in the ketonic diet. And so why would we choose animal protein or higher protein diet to what the SAD, which stands for Standard American Diet, really is all about? And we have found, science has found, and cardiologists and neurologists and people who are not just following what they have been told and taught, but they go into evidence-based diet or evidence-based, whatever they find in their patients as an evidence that it proves something to be beneficial or not. Okay, so high fat. There is this big, do you remember when fat was taken out, all of our food? There was no fat milk, no fat cream. How is that even possible? No fat everything, or very low fat, 1% fat, 2% fat. So it's all manipulated, not natural anymore. And because they said obesity or the rise in disease and obesity is due to fat, due to high fat. And thank you. I have a beautiful friend here as my guest, Kathy. Thank you for being here. And so this was back then. I never forget. I had such a hard time to find anything in the supermarket that was low. I mean, it was regular fat. Everything was low fat or no fat. So now with the keto diet, there is some proof that fat is actually necessary. But still, we are still fighting against how to balance fat and protein and carbohydrates. Well, we have now understood that simple carbohydrates turns into sugar, right? Vegetables are called more complex carbohydrates, as are legumes and beans and all of this. And the role that vegetables provides to us in way of nutrients and fiber is lately questionable. And of course, the keto diet, they still say that vegetables are important and leafy greens are important and cruciferous vegetables, especially because they're supposed to prevent cancer, like broccoli and what are those bitter ones? Anyway, there are a lot of cruciferous vegetables that I don't like. Brussels sprouts are the ones that are so bitter. And today we know, even though it's not very well known everywhere, that a lot of these vegetables have a high content of toxins in them. Anyway, potatoes, beans, and they have toxins, but they have oxalates as well. And an oxalate is some kind of toxins. But why do they matter in the keto diet? So high oxalate vegetables, they are not just everywhere. But what I didn't know, what I really had to learn, that nuts have high oxalates. So let's expand a little bit into the different types of keto diet, including who might recommend them and why they are followed and their specific benefits. Okay, so the standard ketonic diet is the most common version. It typically comprises of 70% fat, 20% protein, and only 10% carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates, I think there is also, that is more vegetables and legumes rather than breads, pasta, and rice. So who recommends this? It's recommended by the new nutritionist and dietitian for individuals who want to lose weight or manage different diseases. Why it's followed? It's known for its effectiveness in weight loss. It also improves blood sugar control. So people who are struggling with diabetes or are pre-diabetic, they are recommended to go on a ketonic diet, which means less carbohydrates, simple carbohydrates, and more fat and protein. Heart disease, cholesterol, blood sugar levels, blood pressure. So all of that benefits from the high protein and high fat ketonic diet. But, you can play around with the fat. Some say 60% of fat is better for them and 35% protein and only 5% carbs. So it's really individual what works best for you, and not just on the scale, because first of all, our health is number one. What gives you more energy? What is evidence in your blood tests? All right. And also, what is evidence in maybe reducing inflammation? So high intensity workouts, for example, and muscle repair is something that athletes look into. And let me tell you, sugar-based diet or high carb diet does not do that. There is no repair with that. The repair comes from ketones, which is fat-based. So apart from weight loss, it may also be better that your muscles get more of the building blocks. Because when we get older, we really need to look after our muscles so that we don't lose them. I mean, I have muscle loss, but I'm also, see here, I'm also still training my muscles so that they do not wither away. So I think this probably would be enough about the different diets, because we can go into it and they become very specific, and we don't need to know what bodybuilders need and how to. We want to really know about what is good for us normal people, who want to be healthy, who want to contain muscle or build muscle, and want to increase our mitochondria, which is ATP, which is really responsible for energy, right? We want the energy. So the last talk that I gave, not the Saturday, last Saturday, the Saturday before, last Saturday, I had this food poisoning, so I wasn't with you guys. But before, I was talking about diet, because I was on the carnivore diet as of the 1st of January, about a week ago, or after my food poisoning. I now switched a little more to the ketonic diet, but high in fat and animal protein. So I still don't like salads and vegetables, and I will share a little bit with you a little later why that is. So as a reminder, the carnivore diet is our ancestral diet, or ancient diet. And the reason why we humans have survived even through the ice ages. In other words, you are alive today because your ancestors survived on meat alone. Let that sink in for a moment. As a matter of fact, agriculture did not even exist until 11,700 years ago. 11,700 years ago. And it started in Egypt when humans started to use wild plants and domesticated them, as well as domesticated wild animals for transportation and for food. Now, if you have listened to me a lot, you know that I often remind you of something we don't think of much anymore, since we listened to all of these so-called authorities to tell us what is good for us, what is good for us to eat, for example. Of course, what we hear, read, and make to believe is really what is pushed on us by interest, by money. But there is a naked truth, a fact that nobody seems to take into consideration anymore. I say it, and I say it often, and please let it sink in. And I hope it makes sense to you. Here it comes. Our bodies are ancient. Yes, ancient. They have not been created even 12,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago, but between 4 and 6 million years ago. Humans developed incredibly resilient. Humans developed a long, long time ago and were incredibly resilient throughout millenniums. From the excavated skeletons that were found of humans, like those who were just over 12,000 years ago, so before agriculture arrived. Those humans, compared to our skeletons today, here is the most significant difference. Before the arrival of agriculture, the normal size of humans was 4.5 feet. What did I say? 6.4 feet. What am I saying? 4.5. 6.4 feet tall, with strong bones, well-formed jaws, all teeth intact, no cavities, and their skull size showed that their brains were at least 11% larger on average than ours today. Huh. What does that mean? Well, there is so much to say about this, and some of it I already discussed in the last episode about the carnivore diet. Maybe if you didn't see that, you can pull it up. It's in the archives of my shows. So today I want to unpack the keto diet. To me, the keto diet is kind of a diet of compromise because it allows foods like vegetables, legumes, salads, all kinds of plant food, grains and nuts, even though plant foods and many nuts contain toxins. As a matter of fact, they have found, tested, that there are over 1 million toxins that were recognized in plants that we eat, compared to none in animal flesh. Okay, so here you have all of these plants, right? 1 million plus toxins. And we eat it. And the animal flesh, none. Well, let them eat the plants and let us eat the meat, because they already dealt with the toxins. Their system has dealt with it, so we don't have to deal with it. So the old saying is, what does not kill us makes us stronger, may not apply to toxins, because even a slow accumulation over time in the sensitive body can destroy health, or worse, can kill. The highly reputable German Max Planck Institute, well, I'm German, so I knew of the Max Planck Institute as a center of science and research all of my life, more or less. They explain that toxins in plants are their defense strategy to survive by making the organisms that eat them sick, or defend their territory against other plants by killing them too. So they cannot run away. So they have their special strategies to make you stop eating them, because they may make you sick. Well, animals in the wild, they have learned what they can eat. And some animals, as we know from the koala bear, eat just one specific leaf, because it has developed a specific symbiosis or synergy with that plant. All right. But we believe that a variety, the more variety, the better. Well, that's a total misconcept. Okay, so let's now dive a little bit into the different styles of the keto diet that are all better than the SAD diet, SAD, S-A-D, and stand for Standard American Diet. That is responsible. The Standard American Diet is responsible for the rise of degenerative diseases, obesity, and the shortened lifespan, even a shorter health span. Because with all of the medications, with all of the pharmaceuticals, you can be kept alive even when your health is not really there anymore. Anyway, we have been going in the wrong direction for at least half a century now. We have deviated from natural foods due to convenience and by brainwashing and manipulation by major so-called food companies. If you're old enough, you may remember the first TV dinner. I do. All conveniently packaged to get this thing that they put together into the microwave oven, heat it up, and then on your tray. So you can eat it in front of your TV box. Yes, box, not a flat screen like we have today. So the shelves in our supermarkets are ever expanding with new versions of packaged food, packaged items sold as food, which are high in carbs and low in nutrition. So sometimes I wonder if the food companies are in collaboration with the pharmaceutical companies, because they profit from each other. Okay, I stop my detour here. Thank God there is a trend to reverse the unhealthy and disease-promoting standard American diet with healthier choices, like the keto diet. There is, and I already went into the different diets, keto diets with high fat, moderate protein, low carb. The high protein is similar, but includes more protein, and the targeted allows adding carbs around workouts. Then the cyclical ketonic diet, and 5 days ketonic, 2 days carb. So we already went through that. The animal protein in the keto diet plays a strong role because animal protein is and was our ancient food, and our bodies not only know how to extract the necessary nutrients, but the nutrients in animal flesh are already pre-digested and readily available to our organism. Now, the quality of the animal flesh plays a role, not an essential role, even if you cannot afford grass-fed, grass-finished, totally natural meat. Any meat is better than the garbage that you may not want to buy from the shelf of your food store, because it has zero, just fillers, zero nutrition. Okay. The best source is always wildlife or naturally raised animal protein. I don't have the time. Natural raised protein are cows that graze and that are not only in one area, but are allowed to roam freely. And but anyway, there is a lot to say about that, but we don't have time to go into all of that today. But maybe at another time. Or you can always contact me and we can have a private chat, okay? So a pheasant that was shot in the wild, or a deer that was shot in the wild, or anything that is not domesticated is the best. But if it is domesticated, then look for how it is treated, how it was held before it gave its precious life for our precious life, so that we may be healthy and strong. Okay, enough of that. Fat consumption is important. So there are different fats. There is the saturated, the monosaturated, the polyunsaturated, and the trans fats. The best fat source for the keto diet and for us humans is still the saturated natural animal diet. And I know, they're saying, oh my God, it's saturated fat, so that may give you a heart attack, that gives you cholesterol and whatever. You have to start to disregard all of that, because the saturated fat, the normal fat that is on your steak, the normal fat that's in your chicken, whatever, is the normal that our bodies know how to deal with. Yet the keto diet, since plant oils and nut oils are allowed, there are certain cons with different oils. As a direct warning here, I just want to say, stay away from all vegetable oils, since they are not only manufactured, but also likely rancid. And even if they don't taste rancid yet, but anyway, they're manufactured, they're not natural. And if you believe that the olive oil you buy in your supermarket is true olive oil, it is probably not. Because according to the FDA, only 40% olive oil, if it's mixed with vegetable oils that are horrific and so bad for you, is allowed to be labeled olive oil. So I know when olive oil is really pure, it's more expensive. But the role of vegetable oil in the keto diet, they say, provides not only fat, but fiber. But the best low-carb vegetables for the keto diet are called leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables. But vegetables to avoid or limit due to their high oxalate content or carbs are, for example, potatoes, certain beans, because oxalates are toxins in food. And there is just a degree. High oxalate vegetables can be lowered by fermenting that vegetable. That lowers the oxalates, or rinsing and soaking very much, or but then throwing away the water, right? And when you steam it, when you boil the vegetables, you don't want to boil it until it's mushy, because then it doesn't have any nutrients either, but just enough to get the oxalates out. Throw the water away, and then add a good helping part of a tablespoon of good natural butter on it. Okay, so let's go quickly into nuts. Almonds. Cyanide is found under the skin of almonds. So people who switched from cow's milk, even though I believe cow's milk is really for the calf, but they'll switch to almond milk. Now, if you drink a lot of almond milk, you get quite a bit of cyanide. How you can prevent, because I don't think they're blanching almonds before they do make almond milk. But anyway, if you buy natural almonds that are not roasted yet, but natural, I would ask you to throw them in some boiling water for a minute or two, and then take the skin off, and then wash them again, because like that you have removed most of the toxins. So let me just share with you what the symptoms of high oxalate in your body is. It's called hyperoxaluria. So it's pain in your back, in your lower back, in the side of your body, anywhere in your body. Nausea, vomiting with pain, blood in your urine, pain when urinating, unable to urinate, feeling the need to urinate more often, fever, chills, urine that smells bad or looks cloudy. These are all oxalates. Comes from the healthy vegetables, the healthy salads that you're eating. What about coffee? Yes, coffee is low in oxalate. It is so low that it's considered oxalate-free. So if you're a coffee lover, because it's a plant, right? Coffee comes from the bean, and that's a plant. So coffee is fine. Okay, very quickly, because I have no time left here. The benefits for older people of the keto diet is weight management, as our metabolism slows down. When we have the keto diet and we don't eat so many carbs, but more fat and protein, that slims us down. It gives us energy. We retain our muscle, and we don't put on fat. So it also curbs our appetite. Sugar makes you hungry after half an hour, sometimes an hour, you're hungry again. If you eat enough fat, you're satiated for a very long time, 2 hours, 3 hours. With sugar, you get a rush, and then you crash. So, and also, of course, our brain. As we get older, we must defend our brain against the damage of sugar. That sugar does in our brain. The plaque. It's a sign of overeating carbs that turns into sugar and create havoc to the brain. So the ketones that are built through eating fat as an energy source rather than sugar is so welcomed, so loved by the brain, that there are homes now where they have Alzheimer's and people with dementia that are actually returning their brain to better, from forgetting and having no idea anymore, to getting a baseline back up again. The brain actually repairs itself under ketones. All right. So that's all the time I have here for you for today. Thank you so much for being with me. And I don't think I'm done yet with Unpacking diets. More is to come. So come back next Saturday and be with me again as we expand on other diets, and so that you can make an intelligent and an informed decision on what you want to put in your body. Okay? Okay.